Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Bringing a recap to you for last night's 11-game slate, a monster slate, a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of blowouts, a lot of drama, really great scoring. We're going to be doing our feature for the highlight of the four top talked about players of the night for some good reasons and one bad reason. We're also going to be getting into my best DraftKings lineup of the night that you see posted up behind me. Not a profitable day in the sweatshop, but the silver lining is a lot of our members did hit on players that we talked about and that we highlighted and that we featured in yesterday's show. So it doesn't have to always be a win for me. If you win, I win because it makes me look good. It makes the community look good that we've got guys that are profiting. Every night's not going to be a great night in NBA DFS, but that's why the season is so long. We have a few things working on our side. We've got bankroll management issues. We know how much to put in on a nightly basis. Just like looking forward to tomorrow's 4-game slate. That's a slate that you want to play lightly. If we go in with 10% of our complete buy-in on a full slate that we really are gung-ho about, a slate like tomorrow with 4 games, we want to lower our buy-in to 5% of our complete bankroll. And just to have something to look at and to be a part of it and to not, to still get that sweat going, we want to play something, but we don't want to go as heavy as we do on a normal 6, 7, 8, or 9 so on game slate. There's going to be a lot of overlap tomorrow. A lot of lineups are going to look alike. So to separate yourself, you're going to have to do some crazy things. But we'll get to that later on. We get to the point totals. We're going to start with our feature for players. These are the guys that were most talked about, most tweeted about in the community. We're going to start with our heat check player tonight. And this guy was also in the running to be the Who Dat player, but the heat check is such a high honor that he stands alone there. And it was none other than Otto Porter. Otto Porter went out and scored 34 points, had 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks with no turnovers, 0 turnovers. That was damn near a perfect game we saw from Otto Porter. 5.3% owned in the larger GPPs. If you had him, you were around the cash line. Definitely. He was 5.3K as well, so he was a really, really great price, great value, and he scored 72.5 DraftKings points. The next player is going to be that Who Dat. What's going on points over there? Player tonight. That's going to go to Alex Len. Now, Alex Len, we didn't know exactly what his role would be, even when Tyson Chandler was out, because he had not been seeing the minutes that we all projected for him to see. And I think that lowered his ownership to the point to where we weren't even checking for him on this 11-game slate with all these great players that we could have rostered other than Alex Len, but he sure showed us, man. He went out and he scored 16 points, had 14 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Very good game from Alex Len, and at 4K solid, that was an excellent value at 43 DraftKings points for him. How did I miss that player tonight? It's going to go to Robert Covington, man. 5.7% owned. He was, I believe, 4.4K. Went out and had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal with a block for 38.5 DraftKings points. Wonderful game for Robert Covington against a really, really good player in Paul George, who did have a decent game too. We're going to get into that. Now, tonight's snowflake, that one motherfucker. Now, see, this is hard for me because you know how much I like this dude. This is probably my favorite player in the NBA. Love to watch him play, but I didn't love watching him play tonight. And that's why you, Damian Lillard, who did not have a Dame game for me tonight, you are tonight's snowflake of the night. Dame only went out and scored 9.25 DraftKings points. He had 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 3 turnovers. This is center stage, Dame. This is against one of the best point guards in the history of the league, and you dig down deep inside, and the most you could pull up out your sorry snowflake ass was 9.25 DraftKings points? No, man. And that's why you are tonight's snowflake of the night, and we will not roster you again until the next time you play because we still love you because you're such a great player and you can rap. And sorry, Dame, but you're the nice snowflake of the night. Now, every day I send out a tweet around midday, somewhere around that. I try to get as much value information that I can before I send this tweet out, because I know that my core four system, excuse me, has been doing wonders for a lot of your games. And we've even gotten to a point where y'all have taken the training wheels off and you're not even rocking with my core four. You're building your own. And your lineups are streamlined, and you're scoring and you're winning money, and it's awesome, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and it's wonderful to see. So, but I would like to review my core four, just so that I can provide checks and balances to myself, because I want you to know that the same guys I'm talking about, the same guys I'm telling you I'm playing, are the same guys I'm playing. Now, we're going to start with Jahlil Okafor. He was definitely a part of the core four. We knew Joel Embiid was going to be out. I liked his usage in this sense. The game went into overtime, so we saw a little bit extra from him than we initially planned, of course, with the extra period. And Okafor had a really good game. He met value. He was definitely a good part of the core four. The next player we're going to talk about is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Had an awesome game, scored about 51 DraftKings points. Killed it. Killed it. He was definitely he was a cog in the core four all day. When I saw the matchup the night before, I knew I wanted to have him in all of my lineups. The next one was gonna be Chris Paul. Underwhelmed, but it was a blowout. That's what got us. What got me with Chris Paul on this night was the fact that this game was a complete blowout because of you, Dame Snowflake ass. And the last player from our core four is going to be Avery Bradley. He had a really good game. He did meet value in another blowout. And this was a crazy game. It was an Otto Porter show. It was an aberration. I mean, Otto Porter is a decent player, but he's not going to do this all the time. And he just destroyed Boston. When I saw the score, when I saw the score to the Boston game, and I realized that I had stacked um, uh, Washington in a certain way. I had Wall, I had Markieff Morris, I had Gortat, I had um, I had Bradley Beal. I was like, oh shit, there's some scoring in this game. No, it was one dude. It was one he came in like a wrecking ball, Miley, and he killed it. And that's why, going back to the night's Heat Check player tonight, I salute you, Otto Porter. You the man. Now, let us go ahead and get into a quick recap. It's 11 games, so we're going to run through them very quickly about the events and the news and the notes and the do's and don'ts going forward that took place tonight. My New York Knicks was the first game on the slate, and they went out and they actually played a pretty good game. And they beat the Brooklyn Nets in New York. What we saw from this game on the Brooklyn Nets side, a pretty good game from Justin Hamilton. He came off the bench, scored 21 points, kind of led all players in scoring. Him and Brook Lopez had 21. A lot of people were on Kilpatrick, didn't like him very much. He had 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. My man Rondae Hollis-Jefferson had 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, and a block, and made value for me. On the Knicks side, we had Carmelo Anthony with a pretty good game, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Porzingis fell 2 rebounds shy of that double-double bonus that we look for. And Derrick Rose had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists, with Brandon Jennings jumping off the bench and getting 11 assists and 3 points in 26 minutes. The next game we're going to be getting to is going to be the Boston Celtics going to Washington to take on the Wizards. Now, John Wall, second ejection in 2 games. There is a pattern here. Something is going on with John Wall. Something is happening with John Wall. This is not like him. He doesn't usually get into scrimmages like this, and something's wrong. Something's going on. But on the Boston side, Avery Bradley had 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists with 2 steals and 1 block. Excellent game from Isaiah Thomas, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, and Marcus Smart came off the bench in 36 minutes and scored 20 points with 3 rebounds and 1 assist. Back to the Washington Wizards side, Otto Porter in 38 minutes had 34 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. And again, I repeat, 0 turnovers. Me as a point guard, I play point guard. I love that. 0 turnovers. That's awesome. Very good game from him. John Wall in 30 minutes, he had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And Marcus Thornton jumped off the bench and had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Next game I'm going to be getting into is going to be the Charlotte Hornets at home. So you know who was at home. You know who was at the game, right? And you know who went ham. He had to. His hose was there. My main man, Kemba Walker, went out. And in 33 minutes, we highlighted him on the show. In 33 minutes, he had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Awesome game from Kemba Walker. We really saw Marvin Williams get into the action in 30 minutes. He had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist for him. Frank Kaminsky, 13, 5, and 3 with a block. We saw Marco Bellinelli score 13. Man, just everybody got involved in this game except Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He did have 9 boards, an assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. So he did make some noise on the stat sheet, but just not scoring very much with only 2 points. On the Utah side of the board, we have got to respect Gordon Hayward. He is just as good. Gordon Hayward is an excellent NBA player, and we've got to look at him more going forward. In 36 minutes, he led the team in scoring with 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Derek Favors, who we really like going into tonight, had 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Rudy Gobert, man, not scoring enough for us, really. I mean, when we roster these bigs at that $6K and above salary, we're looking for a double-double. So somebody, if you can find Rudy Gobert, go tell him, if he's going to get 12 boards, how about get 10 points? Thanks. Rodney Hood, in 33 minutes, had 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Trey Lyles came off the bench and scored like 6 points in the first quarter and ended up with 10 for the game. You still suck, Trey Lyles. 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist for him. The next game I'm going to be getting into is going to be the Orlando Magic at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The entire Timberwolves starting cast went ham. This was a perfect stack if you rostered these guys in this spot, because it would have still given you room to pay up for in other areas. And this is a great game from Karl-Anthony Towns. We saw 40 minutes from him, 20 points, 11 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block. A. Wiggins is still scoring, shooting it hot. He had 29 points in 38 minutes with 4 rebounds and 6 assists. Very good game from him. We had a couple double-doubles because Gorgui Dieng got into it and had 12 points with 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And yes, Gorgui Dieng was on the triple-double watch. Great game from him. Kind of a bounce-back game, if you will. Adam Levine dropped 37, matched his career high. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal for him. On the Orlando side, we finally saw Nikola Vucevic really get himself back into the action. Went out in 30 minutes and scored 24 points, grabbed 14 boards and 6 assists with a block. Aaron Gordon, underwhelming game from him, 7 points and 4 rebounds. Serge Ibaka, 11 points and 2 rebounds. And Elfrid Payton, in 26 minutes, had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. The next game we're going to be getting into was probably the most exciting game for me on the slate. Now, like I told you, let me get close, I watch every NBA game. And it's because I have League Pass. Excellent tool if you're going to be a serious NBA DFS player, MLB, whatever it may be, whatever sport, center ice. You've got to get on these packages where you can watch every game, because the eye test is crucial. You watching a guy play, you seeing a guy play means way more than me just reading numbers off to you and giving you the stat lines. I mean, the stat lines are helpful, but when you watch a guy play and you see what he means to the team, you see what he means to the offense, you develop the relationship with that player and you kind of know when to start him, right? So on the Philadelphia side of the ball, we saw Jahlil Okafor grab 3 boards with an assist, a steal, and 2 blocks to go with 15 points. Gerald Henderson, hot shooting again, 17 points for him, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. We saw Robert Covington, who we talked about as our Who Dat player tonight, scoring all them points over there, had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Dario Saric, who somebody tried to put me on that in the chat, and I should have respected that, and I should have given him a play, because he did score 14 points and had 12 rebounds with 3 assists and 2 blocks. Hollis Thompson, hot shooting off the bench in 25 minutes, had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. And on the Indiana side of the ball, Paul George had a really good game. 28 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Miles Turner, 15 and 9. He fell one shy of the double-double with 1 assist and 3 blocks. Thaddeus Young has continued to struggle. His price should be decreasing and decreasing. We'll see that when he comes up on the next later games. Jeff Teague in 40 minutes had 30 points, 2 rebounds, and 9 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. So we fell just one shy of that double-double bonus. And CJ Miles kind of cooled off a little bit, had 12 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists. We saw a big game, so to speak, from Al Jefferson. He had 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. The next game is going to be the Atlanta Hawks at home taking on the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Hawks were on a back-to-back, so we were kind of wary at which people that we would roster, knowing that sometimes we don't have late swap anymore, so it's hard to really invest ourselves in these players on back-to-backs because you never know when a coach is going to go straight, Dallas Mavericks massacre on us and fucking sit everybody. But everybody did play, and on the Chicago side of the ball, Jimmy Butler, man, he came back with a vengeance. Did everything he could to win this game, was on a triple-double watch. He had 39 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 6 steals. Dwayne Wade, whenever Jimmy Butler plays well, Dwayne Wade plays well. Those guys play well together. And I think I told you that last time, and I hope you got them in your rosters together, because Dwayne Wade had 25 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 steals. Nothing else to speak about from this game. Taj Gibson, 13 and 6. Just not a very good performance from the supporting cast of the Chicago Bulls. But on the Atlanta side of the ball, they had a really good game. Bazemore, if you followed the points from last night, you fell in the rabbit hole because he only had 3 points with 1 rebound and 7 assists. Millsap, 16 and 11. Dwight Howard, 18 and 10. So we had a couple double-doubles there. Thabo Sefolosha scored like 18 points in the first 2 minutes of the first quarter and finished with 20 points. Horrible. Tim Hardaway Jr. jumped off the bench in 20 minutes and had 11 points with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder at home against the Toronto Raptors. They got their asses whipped, and I did not at all completely roster Russell Westbrook, and I would recommend that you don't either until that price gets down. We are asking the man to do too much to make value, and it's not fair to him. It's not fair to us. He's unrosterable to me at the moment. On the Toronto side of the ball, DeMar Carroll, man, in 21 minutes he scored 10 points with 4 rebounds. Hell yeah, about time you did something. DeMar DeRozan, man, picked up that hot shooting at 37 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. And the guy that I was on a lot, that I knew a lot of folks were going to be on, was Kyle Lowry. I loved Lowry in this spot. It's such a fast-paced game. In 42 minutes, a lot of minutes, he played 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists with a block. So he was definitely on the triple-double watch. Patrick Patterson came off the bench and had 13 points and 3 rebounds with 3 assists and 2 steals. On the Oklahoma City side of the ball, decent game from Westbrook, 36 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Steven Adams had 14 points and 12 rebounds with an assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. Enes Kanter, horrible. He was definitely in the running to be tonight's snowflake of the night, but he's not a starter, so we can't. It's hard to a guy that comes off the bench. It's kind of hard to tag him with a snowflake when we had starters, guys like franchise players that were playing like shit last night. Dame. Vic Oladipo had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Pretty good game from him. Sabonis, not the game that we thought we were going to see from him. He had 7 points, a rebound, 4 assists, and 1 steal. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Detroit Pistons going to the Phoenix Suns. Now, Phoenix was on a back-to-back, but this is a really hard-working, running team, man. Earl Watson has got these guys playing out of their minds, especially Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe went out and had a really, really great game. In 34 minutes, he was on a triple-double watch. He had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists for him. Of course, you talked about Alex Lim with the double-double, 16 and 14, with 3 steals and a block. TJ Warren, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. A very modest game from him. We also saw Brandon Knight jump off the bench and score 14 points with a rebound and 3 assists on the Detroit side. Drummond John went in 18, 14, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Good game from him. The other Morris, not the bum from Washington that destroyed a couple lineups, but his brother, twin brother, had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. And Tobias Harris, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. John Lord jumped off of the bench, and he was somebody who I was high on. I really like John Lord in this revenge game. He had 11 points with 9 boards to go with an assist. The next game I'm going to be talking about is going to be the Houston Rockets going to the San Antonio Spurs. Very good game from James Harden. Let's just go ahead and admit it. This dude is fucking matchup proof. Like, it doesn't matter who he goes up against, he can make value. And James Harden can make value. And a lot of us didn't think that, which is why he had such a low ownership in the single entry GPPs. I mean, he was like 4% owned in the single entry. In the larger GPPs, multi-entry, he was like 10% owned. And this is James Harden, man. He went out and he scored 66 DraftKings points. Very good game from him. 24 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, triple-double with a steal in 40 minutes, and he got the win. Good game from James Harden. Ryan Anderson stood around and shot a bunch of threes, but he did grab 8 boards to go with 20 points and 1 steal. Trevor Ariza did well in every statistical category. He had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. Good game from Trevor Ariza if you used him. Clint Capella started off hot. 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 block, but he didn't see a lot of minutes. Only saw 17 minutes in this game. They won, so I guess the coach knew what he was doing, but we saw a lot more of the Decker guy and Ryan Anderson kind of playing at the 5, like small ball lineup type of thing is what we saw. And a lot of Nene. Nene had 21 minutes too. So San Antonio side, Kawhi Leonard, man, had a great game. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't really get involved in the rebounding aspect of the game, but he did have 14 points to go with the 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Danny Green, in his return, had 26 minutes, so that's very promising. To come back, first game back, and to have 26 minutes in a Popovich coach team, that's saying something going forward. I think he's good. He should be good. So he had 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists with 4 steals. Patty Mills had 10 assists, and he doesn't really do anything other than score, but he only had 8 points to go with 3 rebounds, so not a great game from Patty Mills, but he did make value if you rostered him. The next game I'm going to get into is going to be one of the blowouts of the night, and it was the Portland Trailblazers and them carrying the snowflake of the night to the Clippers and not having a really great game at all. Their doors got blown off of them. Blake Griffin, 22, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Great game from Blake Griffin. We even saw DeAndre Jordan score 16 points, and he had 9 rebounds with 1 assist. Chris Paul, 19, 4, 7 assists, and 1 steal. And Mo Buckets grabbed 8 boards and scored 12 points in his 14 minutes. On the Portland side, no starter scored in double figures. Let that sink in for a minute. None of the starters scored in double figures. Horrible game from everybody. I do not even want to mention these cats. The only guy that remotely had a decent game on this team was Noah Vonleh. At his low price point, he had 5 points with 11 rebounds and 1 assist. The last game of the night is going to be the Dallas Mavericks going to the Golden State Warriors. This was a blowout. We all saw that coming. Harrison Barnes still had a good game in his return to Golden State. He had 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. Justin Anderson had 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Great game from him. And this was just a massacre because we had Andrew Bogut out, coach's decision. JJ Barea out, coach's decision. Wesley Matthews out, coach's decision. On top of that, Deron Williams was already out with a left calf strain. So we really didn't see too much from these players, man. We had 10 points and 9 assists with 5 steals, 2 blocks, and a rebound from Lil Bruh, Seth Curry. So we did have a good game. There was a scare with Steph Curry being injured through the game. I think he did come back and he was fine. But we saw 28 and 10 from Kevin Durant with 4 assists. Good game from him. Draymond Green had 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists with 2 blocks. And Klay Thompson dropped 20 with 2 rebounds and 4 assists for him. So now let's get into tomorrow's slate of games. The first game on the docket is going to be the Chicago Bulls going to the Miami Heat. Now, this is a 199.5 point total. It is the lowest point total of the night, but there's an instant narrative I know it's going to be in a lot of people's mind in this game. This is Dwayne Wade's return to Miami. And for that reason, I like Dwayne Wade in this game. I like Jimmy Butler in this game, of course. Now they're going to be on a back-to-back, but that there's no way that he sits for this game. There's no way Dwayne Wade doesn't play and play well in this game. It is a 199.5 point total, as I said, but the differential is -1.5 in favor of Miami. They are giving Chicago a 1.5. On the Chicago side of the ball, I kind of would like to take my chances uh, with both of them, Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's coming off a really good game. Dwayne Wade's going back to Miami, so there's a lot of, it's gonna be a lot of emotion, a lot of want to gonna be involved in that game. On the other side of the ball, as far as on the perimeter, I do like Goran Dragic in this game. I think he's gonna have a really good game. And just like Dwayne Wade wants to go there and have a good game, when he comes there, the Miami players want to have a good game too. So I do think that there's gonna be more than just the Wade play in this game. I think a lot of times the teams that you have revenge against, they want to show your ass that you should have stayed. So I think that's maybe even a bigger narrative than Dwayne Wade going back. It might be, hey, we Miami Heat, you should have stayed with us, and we gonna ball out. So I think that is definitely a uh, a narrative that's involved in that game, and that's why I like Whiteside. He's probably my favorite player on the slate when it comes to this game. He's gonna see Taj Gibson, who he can manhandle, and also really get into an offensive groove against him. So I do like Whiteside in this game. I even like the backup center because we're gonna have to go deep in our lineups in these GPPs. I like Willie Reed as well. I like both of them in this game. I think no matter what, Miami Bigs are gonna get off in this game. So he's somebody that you can look to roster for the cheap too, if you want to go ahead and pay up and kind of go with a stars and scrubs approach, because that's what it's gonna take to win big tomorrow. You're gonna have to have a fair mix of stars and scrubs that are gonna make value for you and exceed value for you as far as the scrubs go. Actually, uh, Justice Winslow is probably going to be a so-so play in this game. He's going to see a lot of minutes. He's going to be on the court a lot, so you definitely can look to him. Um, uh, Tyler Johnson is probably going to be a player with a fair amount of minutes going his way. But if I had to pick some guys that I wanted to roster in this game, it would be Wade, it would be Butler, it would be Goran Dragic, of course. It would not be Rajon Rondo. I do not like him in this game. And of course, it will be Whiteside and his backup, Willie Reed. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans going to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. This is a 208 point total, with Milwaukee being the favorite. They're giving up 4 points. Not a big point differential with a game over 200, so I kind of like it. There is interest there. I love Anthony Davis, of course. I think Giannis definitely is in play. Brogdon's is probably going to be in play for the cheap. We got to look to Greg Monroe in this game. I think we're going to have to see some Greg Monroe if they would want to do anything to slow Anthony Davis down. If you want to slow Anthony Davis down, we're going to have to see some Greg Monroe. So he's definitely going to be in play for me tomorrow as well. I like Tim Frazier in this game too. I think Tim Frazier can be a really good play in this game. I mean, who's he going to see defense from? I mean, Giannis doesn't guard the point guard. He doesn't guard the point guard, and we want to be vigilant to see who the New Orleans Pelicans are going to start as far as Dante Cunningham or Terrence Jones. We want to know what's going on with that going forward. It's an 8 o'clock tip off, so we should be well abreast of what's going on. So if I had to pick some guys from this game that I really like, it would be Anthony Davis, of course, Omar Ashik as a sleeper if he's starting. At that 3.1K, I mean, you can't do any better than that. He's going to go out and get some rebounds at least. Greg Monroe from the Milwaukee side, Giannis Antetokounmpo, somebody who I like as well, and Malcolm Brogdon is somebody who I like. The next game I'm going to get into, Golden State Warriors, man. Golden State Warriors playing at 9 o'clock. Woo! I'm glad they ain't playing at 10:30 like that, because these videos come out late because they play so much. But They are going to the Denver Nuggets. This is a 221.5 point total, the highest point total on the slate. Everybody's going to be invested in this game because the point total is going to be so high. And actually, the point differential is not what we might think it would be. It's not a double-digit point differential. Golden State is coming off a back-to-back, so we want to be wary. We want to get as much news as possible as we can going into when lineups lock at 8 o'clock, because you could see some guys sit. You could see some guys sit. This is a road trip. They're just leaving now. But the good thing about this is we'll know who traveled with the team and who didn't, because they're leaving Golden State and going to Denver. So we'll know way before lineups lock if somebody's going to sit. That's going to be the good part. The Denver Nuggets are getting 6.5 at home. We know we can roster point guards against Golden State, so I do like Moody in this game. We've got to be on the lookout for if Will Barton is going to play. I think he's going to be out. He's not going to be in. Jameer Nelson is a backup that could receive some scrub love if it does get out of hand and Golden State is blowing them out. So Jameer Nelson is going to be in play. As far as the bigs go in this game, I like Nurkic in this game. I think this is a Nurkic game. Now, Jokic is the more talented player, I think, and a player with more upside. But in this particular matchup, if I had to choose between Jokic and Jokic, I would go Nurkic. I think Nurkic is going to be the better play of the two bigs for Denver tomorrow. We're going to see Jaja Pachulia. He's a stiff. Nah, I'm cool with that tonight. And it's always, picking the Golden State players are going to go off is always so hard. And we know that Curry had that little tweak. It was an ankle issue tonight. So I wouldn't go with him. He may even sit. I don't know. We're going to have to, like I said, be very vigilant and check on the beat writers for Golden State to see what's happening throughout the day. So I do like Draymond Green in this game. So if I had to roster some guys from this game, it would be Moutier, it would be Draymond Green on the Golden State side, it would be Nurkic, of course, and maybe some Kenneth Faried and Jameer Nelson in scrub love, kind of like them. Next game, probably gonna be the most entertaining game on the slate, and this is the one that I'm gonna have the most exposure to. Out of these 4 games, if you ask me which one are you going to have the most players involved, to me it's going to be the Los Angeles Lakers. Now we know that it's a 208 total, and it's a 5-point differential, with the home team, the Sacramento Kings, giving up 5 points to the Los Angeles Lakers. I love D'Angelo Russell going in Sacramento and playing well. We've got to give some consideration to Swaggy P, man. The dude is shooting the fucking lights out. We've got to look at him. Cousins is gonna have a really good game, I would say. I also like Darren Collison in this game too. I like Darren Collison. If I had to roster, I'm gonna roster 2 guys from the Sacramento side, and it's gonna be Darren Collison and Boogie. Now the only reason why I don't like Rudy Gay as much is because that price has crept up a little bit. So he may be just out of range of what I want to pay for what he does, when I can get Julius Randle on the other side for cheaper. That probably is going to be a guaranteed double-double, whereas Rudy Gay probably won't double-double because he's going to be fighting with Boogie and Randle for rebounds. So on the Lakers side of the ball, like I said, I love D'Angelo Russell. I think it's going to be a really good showing for him. We've got to give consideration to Nick Young. Of course, as I said before, I like Julius Randle. Mozgov might even be a good play as a value if you wanted to pay up in other spots, as well as Costa Kufos too. We see, with these 4-game slates, man, they can get tricky because we've got to find out the low owned guy. This is all about ownership. This is an ownership slate. This is all about ownership, and the best way to hit on the guy that's going to be low owned, honestly, is to stack offenses. So there's a couple different ways we can attack this slate. I'm going to have half of the lineups I put in where I'm just stacking the offenses, seeing which one really comes out to play, and then the other one I'm gonna be cherry picking, and I'm gonna go stars and scrubs. That's the way to attack this slate. Let's just close out this video, man, with a awesome thanks. We are almost at 1,300 I stopped calling y'all subscribers. Y'all are family members. We are almost at 1,300 family members here in the DFS sweatshop, and it is an awesome thing, a wonderful thing. I don't get paid for this, but I do. I do. I do. With all of the likes and the comments and the subscribes and the shares and the messaging back and forth every day on Twitter. It's wonderful, and I enjoy it. And I just want to thank you all for being a part of the family. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the content, share it to somebody else. But whatever you do, keep coming back. Just keep coming back for the DFS sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, signing out. Thank y'all, and let's go and have a profitable Thursday.